So this is Bodhayanti Parasparam, Volume 2, Clarifications. Vivek. Yes.
Yeah. Namaste. Role of Abhyasi, Part 1. Morning meditation. Salient points on morning meditation. Point number 1, we are to meditate supposing the divine light without luminosity in the heart where it beats, and not bother about many thoughts that cross the mind, treating them as our unwanted guests. This attitude of treating the thoughts as unwanted guests has to be cultivated assiduously by us. Please meditate on the heart only, not minding the sensations in other parts of the body. As the absorbency increases and also we continue to practice, the posture does not pose a problem. You need not worry too much about small adjustments in the posture done during meditation, which most of the times go automatically and not intentionally. During meditation, we should maintain an attitude of waiting and be grateful for whatever condition that is gained. Our attitude during meditation should be one of yielding, and that is, we should accept whatever happens during that period and accept it as divine blessings. One of the fundamental truths in spirituality is that God grants us what we need and not what we seek. While we should be attentive during meditation, undue concern with our posture or gait or even mood should not be there. Expecting the quality of meditation is imposing conditions on the divine, which is not a proper attitude. Waiting on divine is the attitude we have to cultivate. We should note that the system is dynamic and the nature of meditation is not the same at all times, and there will be very perceptible changes in the quality of meditation. In a moving bus or train or walking, the scenario changes while in a stagnant state. The same scene appears. Expecting repeated experiences is not in tune with the dynamic system.
Vivek, if you can go a little slower, I think that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, just so that then each point people can grasp it.
Okay. Thoughts will always be there as they are going out or getting evaporated due to the vacuum that is generated due to meditation as per Pranahuti aided meditation. Do not give too much attention to them and ignore as already advised. Thoughts will always be there, but only its nature will change. However, the moments of void that we experience during meditation should give you enough encouragement to steadily move in the path. The calm and peace observed during meditation is indication.
Yeah, I have a question related to all this. If someone can help me in understanding, how do we come to know that we are ignoring thoughts and stopping thought?
How do we know we are ignoring thoughts?
Or we are actually stopping thoughts?
Uh, mm, so maybe I don't know whether I'll be able to answer your question specifically, but I had asked this question to sir once in my initial days, where I said, it was more during when I was given this, I think permission, where I asked that how do I know whether. So there's a question in one of the questions whether your attention was on the heart or in one of the forms that we fill, right? And how do we, because it said that you have to get back to the thought. If suppose you feel that there is a distraction you had, then you have to come back to the thought, right? So it is the way I think Sir explained is, if you are thinking about something, if you are focusing on the heart, on the divine light, and suppose a thought comes, it's like a chain of thought that starts getting created, a story that gets start getting created, right? You think about something, say it's your office, it is something linked to somebody in the office, and then you start thinking about that person or what happened, and then it's basically a story get linked, and then you forget at some point that you are sitting in meditation, and that story basically starts. So the moment you realize that you are sitting in meditation, and you're supposed to be focusing on the heart, uh, you would be, if you force yourself to come back to the heart, that is kind of stopping the chain of thought. So it's basically a very gentle way that you in a very gentle way you again focus on the heart, and the moment you focus on the heart, the initial thought of divine light without luminosity again starts from there. So that's how Sir had explained that you don't have to force yourself to say that ye stop, ye thoughts nahi aane chahiye, and because that would be like a suppression, or forcing that flow to stop. You have to just gently think without giving too much of force or attention to it, and it happens in a natural way. Otherwise it's something that you are like suppressing or trying to force. So that's how Sir had explained to me when I was initial days. I don't know whether that kind of uh, helps you, but maybe Dharmesh, Atul can add this.
Shakti,
Yes, sir.
so in training program, we explain crude concentration, right? So if you are stopping thoughts,
Hmm.
then that would lead you to crude concentration. So it will lead you to heaviness and sluggishness. But if you
Right.
are ignoring thoughts, you will feel lightness at the end. So that is the way you know whether you are stopping thoughts or you are ignoring thoughts.
But Bhaiya, during the meditation, when we initially start our meditation and put our conscious attention with a suggestion on heart, then there is some period in which we will not get thoughts. So are we suppressing those thoughts in
No,
those
no.
period, or
Suppression requires a conscious effort, and that conscious effort will lead to heaviness, not lightness. So your original question, how do you know whether you are suppressing or ignoring? The
okay?
answer will come, how are you feeling after meditation? If you are feeling light, you have a sense of relief, then you have ignored. Otherwise,
Okay.
it will be somewhat of a heavy feeling, like a tough feeling of torpor, if you have attempted to suppress. So when you are suppressing, there's a conscious effort. But when you are in thought of the divine light, with other thoughts spontaneously flowing, then that is not effortful, and that gives a feeling of lightness. This is an experience which everyone who is correctly meditating should have already. If your meditation leads you to a feeling of heaviness, then you are suppressing. If it is leading you to a feeling of lightness, then you are on the right lines.
Okay, Bhaiya.
One more thing I want to add is that where your attention is and how much you love it. So if you love the task at hand, you will be automatically able to ignore all other things around it. If it is more intellectual or if it is more forced upon, you will feel heaviness. So if you love meditating on divine light thought every morning, automatically all other noises will disappear from you. So love is the most important factor.
So that is commandment 2, right? Start your prayer with a feeling of love and devotion.
So that's an higher order. What I'm trying to say, the task which you have taken up, I'll just take an ordinary mundane example. Suppose you are writing some article and you really love writing it. if there is a dog barking outside your house in a balcony or on the road, but your whole love and attention is on writing that article, you will be able to ignore the barking of that thought of that dog. But if it is more of an forceful or a task given by a master to do something, then probably you will feel more of disturbance from the barking of the dog. So the love of the task at hand helps you ignore what is non-essential.
जी भैया.
Very
But,
nice answers, all of them. I'm sorry to interrupt them. Go ahead.
Shakti, I would suggest you read non-concentration, concentration. It's there in the book Introduction to PAM. Read Babuji Maharaj's explanation of meditation, where he explains non-concentration. So that exactly addresses what you are saying. Like spontaneity of flow of thoughts will lead you to lightness. So degree of absorption varies. So just go over that, contemplate. And what Atul is explaining is how to do it effectively. Like Babuji Maharaj also says that think that divine light is attracting you, and then it becomes easier for us to meditate on divine light and ignore other thoughts.
See, one more test for me is if you cannot recall those thoughts after meditation, that means you have not paid attention to them. So sometimes there's an overflow of thoughts, but thoughts were there. You cannot recall them after meditation. So that means they've not left an impact on you, and that's one more test.
Yeah, that's right.
Shall we move ahead?
Yeah, because Bhaiya, I have read those articles, but this thought came into me as I was going through this clarification is that he said that sir is saying that thoughts are always going to be there. Now, as we go and progress in our meditations, then there are basically some experiences where we are completely blank, where there is no thought in per se, and somehow we know that if a thought is coming, we are ignoring the thought. So hence the question was that whether I am consciously or subconsciously stopping those thoughts or not. And hence you have answered it that if after the meditation one feel light, it is a proper meditation. Otherwise, it is a concentrated effort to stop those thoughts.
Right. But the thoughtless feeling, apparently thoughtless feeling, is also not actually thoughtless. Those thoughts are in tune with the divine, so you're not aware of those thoughts. So that is Babuji Maharaj. He says when the mind rejects the thoughts, then you become aware of it, right? So there is nothing like a perfect thoughtless state. Thoughts are always there. It's just your degree of awareness changes. When they are perfectly in tune with the divine, you are not. That awareness is not, awareness of thought per se is not there, but feeling will be there. That feeling gets reflected. That's why we are asked to write the diary on how you feel, because that is blank feeling is also a sort of feeling, but we cannot call it perfect thoughtless. Perfect thoughtlessness is an expectation almost all Abhyasis have, and that is why they struggle in meditation, but don't keep that expectation.
Thank you, Bhaiya. That viewpoint is right when you say that the thoughts we don't come aware of because we are in divine thought, and maybe we are in sync and in absorbed state at that time, but they are going to be there. It is just that we do not come to know or are aware of those thoughts. So this is a different perspective. I don't thought about it like that.
It is Babuji Maharaj's philosophy on how mind makes you aware of the thought. It is his perspective. So we will have to contemplate and think from how he has explained things. Yeah, let's read further.
Okay, thoughts will always be there as they are going out or getting evaporated due to the vacuum that is generated due to meditation as per Pranavati meditation. Do not give too much attention to them and ignore as already advised. Thoughts will always be there, but only its nature will change. However, the moments of void that we experience during meditation should give you enough encouragement to steadily move in the path. The calm and peace observed during meditation is indication that the divine is responding to us, and they should enable to strengthen our will to move towards our goal with conviction and clarity apart from confidence. You may not bother about the thoughts that drift as they are not interfering with the quality of meditation. If, however, you find them distracting, try to keep your attention on the heart and the light without luminosity. Since in such an effort, the eyes get set downwards, though you have closed your eyelids, a state of relatively high orientation in meditation would result. Existence of thoughts by itself is not to be considered as poor meditation, as our aim is not concentration, but only to get into a state of absorbency in the thought of the divine light. Meditations are absorbing or otherwise is not a matter of great concern. Whether the goal clarity is emerging and whether our progress in that direction is improving is more relevant. These aspects develop over a period of time. Patience and perseverance are most important for success in any field. So I think Shakti, some of these points are also addressing the question that you had asked. Then feeling sleepy during meditations is not correct. Try to be attentive and alert, but never expect anything. To have consciousness during absorbency in meditation is the most desirable way. Total absorbency without any thoughts is good, but awareness during meditation is better, as that enables to maintain our status of being a devotee always. Periods of absorbency are not permanent. In fact, they should not be so. At each stage of development, there will be absorbency or laya, and this will be a feature through your journey into the infinite. Do not give much importance to the physical and sensory experiences in meditation, but give much weight to the psychological states and observe how your mental states evolve. Work when you should work and play when you should play. For me, meditation has been a play with master, and this attitude has helped me a lot.
Again, one more clarification required. If you can go back, what is the 16-point meaning? To have consciousness during absorbency in meditation is the most desirable way.
So
When you are
point 17 addresses that and clarifies it, right? It says total absorbency without any thoughts is good, but awareness during meditation is better. So in a state of sleeping, we are in a perfect state, but then we are not conscious, we are not aware. But it should, so point 15 also kind of builds upon that. It says feeling sleepy during meditation is not correct. Try to be attentive and alert, but never expect anything. So I think if you read all the 3 points, it kind of clarifies what point number 16 means.
Just one more thing that you can go over is in volume 4, there is a chapter on meditation where Pujya sir explains the 4 states during the meditation. So that is something that would be relevant here. And just other thing we need to distinguish is between the awareness and the involvement. It's like if you're just observing as a sakshi, then we are aware. But as we get involved, we'll have the feelings and other things playing into it. And that is where we'll see, okay, are those worry related? Are those something else goal related and things like that, right? So that we are getting involved, we are trying to evaluate the thoughts. Are those progress related, sadhana related, and things like that. Okay. It's just a awareness of the things.
So absorbency is a state in which, as Joshi Bhaiya just told me, that it is when we are not aware of the thoughts and the thoughts are not getting rejected. Now, if we are not aware of these thoughts, and if we are in an absorbed state, there is like no recollection of how the time has passed, and there is no I-ness there. So, what consciousness is being been asked to be like had, or one should live with, that is what I'm not able to, because at that stage I am not there. It's not any potentiality, it is not anything that I am even aware in that absorbed state. So I don't know.
If we don't mind a little digression, we can read that small chapter of meditation in volume 4, which answers these questions, because some of this is now getting onto a bit of a intellectual side. But Sir has answered that. Okay. Just give me a moment. Okay, wait, so I'll just read this chapter and then you can continue with this one, right? So meditation, this is from volume 4, Bodhayanti Parasparam. Meditation has been defined as emptying of the content of consciousness. This is the meaning and the depth of meditation. The emptying of all the content, thought coming to an end. Easily said, what are the thoughts we get during meditation? The nature of thoughts encountered by are all intentional. It is intentional consciousness that we always encounter. The thoughts can be personal, intentional, transpersonal, intentional, or universal, intentional. But what we first encounter are the noises or the sounds, etc., of the surroundings in which we meditate. For totally annihilating all the thoughts that we encounter during meditation, we must understand these thoughts as different from the thoughts that have already become our memory, which is a bundle of experiences. Also, the valuational judgments we have made on such past experiences and the attitudes and goals that we have formed based on such experiences have to be made as not disturbing. So this is the first stage, right, where we get disturbed because of our past experiences. In the system of Sri Ramchandra's Raj Yoga, the meditational practices are aimed at just achieving these two. The morning meditation, in which we are asked to give a suggestion that it is divine light without luminosity, not a fact of experience so far, does not permit any intentional consciousness to operate. Thus, the consciousness is kept free from the freedom to choose, but is given the freedom not to choose. Okay. The consciousness is kept free, not from the freedom to choose, but is given the freedom not to choose. This makes us possible to not apply any of our intention to the sensory and other inputs to consciousness. This leads us to a state of outer silence from outer noise. Thus, the habit of forming intentions is kept under control. As the meditation practices advance, the nature of forming additional loads of intentional consciousness ceases, and this is what is called by the state in which no future samskaras are formed. The meditational practice of cleaning advised in the evening deliberately aims at getting rid of the effect on our consciousness of the memories and experiences of the past which have formed layers in intentional consciousness. This may not lead to total annihilation of such memories, samskaras, but the process of reduction of such load starts. If the intentional consciousness now makes a firm attachment to the ultimate being, the process of lightening continues and load shedding happens during dreams and states of contemplation. With the relative quietening of the effect of intentional consciousness, pure consciousness, which does not have any borders and demarcations based on fragmented intentional consciousness, the state of silence is experienced. As is the nature of any experience is transitory and leaves a memory, then a new category of intentional consciousness, namely seeking recurrent experience of such silence where the consciousness finds poise and balance is sought after. The urge for this leads to states of prayer. The urge is sought to be strengthened by resorting to prayer during the night before retiring to bed. Thus, we find three meditational practices advised by revered Babuji are specifically oriented to the three tasks at hand to arrive at pure consciousness, which is beyond all types of intentional consciousness. Okay. And now he explains the 4 stages in the meditations. The stages of meditation can be examined as 1. A state when the intentional consciousness is such that it is not able to choose any one of them and it is all confusion. 2. A state when the intentional consciousness is such that it is compelled to choose one or a few of the related thoughts, such as one which itself is a perceived compulsion due to the various relationship and other beings that it has developed during life. 3. A state when the intentional consciousness is not coerced to choose any particular thought, but feels free to make a choice from the various thoughts or thought patterns that are getting confronted by it. And 4. A state when the intentional consciousness is free not to choose from any of the thoughts. The third state mentioned above enables a person to choose a thought which promotes a set goal. But when the goal is determined as being one with the being or ultimate, the thought should be incapable of thought about. The best example being what Master has suggested, divine light without luminosity. But before coming to this level, it may be that the intentional consciousness takes into consideration the auspicious qualities of the divine. The fourth state mentioned is really one which is had when such thoughts leads to a condition when pure and simple silence is experienced and the consciousness is in a state of non-reflection. As any other state, such a one is also transitory and temporal, even as the very nature of consciousness is condemned to. So I'm assuming that this Shakti would clarify.
But yeah, thank you for reading and helping me understand this. But this article talks about the states which are experienced during intentional consciousness. Now, if I have a whatever understanding, correct me if I'm wrong. When we are in the absorbed
Shakti,
state,
so intentional, so it's like first three would be intentional, but the fourth is not an intentional because it says it's in a state of non-reflection.
No, Shakti, if you see this line, right, the third state mentioned above enables a person to choose a thought which promotes a set goal. So in the previous reading that we were doing, where it mentioned about the consciousness, presence of consciousness as a desired thing during absorbency, it is talking about this particular level of intentional consciousness that you may have, which will kind of help you in realizing the goal better or understanding what is going on better. Otherwise, it is like a state of sleeping. Sleeping is the best state of meditation, but then you are not aware of anything that is going on. Right? Everything is basically in the subconscious. So if we come back to the previous reading, your basic question was, it talks about to have consciousness during absorbency in meditation is the most desirable way. Your question was that if you are not conscious of what is going on, then what it is talking about, what consciousness it is talking about in this point 60, right? And it is talking about that third stage of intentional consciousness over here, where you'll be aware and you'll be able to focus on the goal better as compared to, of course, there will be higher states also, but then it is talking about the salient features of the basics of basically how to do meditation and what state to have. So I mean, is it clear? Maybe with other you want to add, or Atul, you want to add something?
Just want to add one simple point. Normally, absorbency, we equate it equal to a state of sleepiness where, like, I have lost every sense of body or affairs or thoughts or any of those things. So absorbency, basic idea is like I am totally absorbed, means I am not aware of anything at all, and that is we consider to be a desirable state. And many a time Abhyasis confuse absorbency with sleepiness. They think they have slept. Whereas absorbency, the actual meaning, basic meaning, even what Dharmesh shared, Sir has very clearly specified it. Absorbency also means oneness with the thought of divine. So we have given the suggestion of divine light in the heart. And when oneness happens with that, what will be experienced? The only thing which can be experienced at that time, normally we are aware of something, or we become aware of something, or experience results in duality. Like I'm aware of something when the object is away from me, then I experience that object. It is a special kind of experience when you are one with that thought. The only thing you will experience is silence. So silence is an indication of this fact that if you are aware of that silence, in the mid of the absorbency, you are maintaining your consciousness. If you have lost everything, then even silence will not be observed by you. So to experience silence is maintaining consciousness during absorbency. This is what I think. And absorbency here means oneness with the thought of divine.
so Bhaiya, if we basically lose track of time and we think that we are absorbed, then that is not a desirable state. We have to be aware of those states as well.
Hey, what is it?
It is not a conscious effort. It's not a conscious effort to be to keep yourself looking for that silence. If you are one with that divine thought, it will automatically happen.
Atul, question kya tha? What is the question? I was out. I just came.
Sir, it is point number 16.
16, 1 minute.
Yeah.
To have conscious is made is the most desirable way. Is the thing is like suppose you have a feeling of devotion or a feeling of surrender, and you're absorbed in that feeling, if you're conscious of that feeling, is desirable. But later on, that feeling can, if you get layavastha into that feeling, it can become very refined actually. But the maximum benefit you'll get if you're conscious during that. But as Shakti is telling, during meditation, if the mind is totally absorbed in that object of meditation, you lose the sense of time. That is also this thing. But then when you come out of the meditation, you can reflect on that experience actually. That will help us in developing wisdom or imperience, that's called. So if you have a good thought, good feeling is there, at that time your mind will be free from any desires in the world or any ill will about anything in the world. You're totally detached from the world, likes and dislikes. Only that feeling of devotion or feeling of surrender or feeling of reverence or feeling of respect for the master, only that feeling will be there. If you're absorbed in that feeling, if you maintain consciousness when you're absorbed in that feeling, that is a good meditation. You can stretch that absorbency as long as is possible. That state keeps on changing. After sometimes you get into layavastha, and then you go into sayujjata, where you will not be even aware of that feeling also. If you do not break away from that feeling, it undergoes through various phases later on. Next question, Arana. Point 17 also is why awareness is important.
Yeah, so we went through this.
So, sir, what we were discussing, and Atul Bhaiya
Any
was
question?
saying
Because
that
we have to be clear about these things. Because these are all.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Shakti,
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sir, my thing is that when we are absorbed in a particular state, it is not something where we are putting some conscious effort into it. We just go into that state. If we go into that state, yes, and we do not have any recollection or awareness of that state, the state of consciousness, which is a very active in comparison to the resultant feeling that we get. So अगर उस स्टेट के बारे में कुछ पता ही नहीं चला तो फिर उसके फीलिंग क्या रिटेन करेंगे?
नहीं, that is a common experience, no? That is a state of void where you don't feel anything. You don't feel the object of meditation. You don't feel your own subject also. It will be totally complete loss of time and space. So that again proves the reality that you are infinite in nature. You are not limited to your mind or body actually. So that experience is very, very spiritually good experience. But if you reflect on that experience, you will come to the conclusion that you are not even present at that time. Your body, you are not aware of your body, you're not aware of your time, you're not aware of the object of meditation, you're not aware of you meditating also. That's a ultimate experience. But then when you come back from that experience, you have to reflect on that experience and come to know that your reality is you are not bound to this body or mind. You are by nature Brahman. That means you are infinite and you are present everywhere. So you have to mold your thinking and mold your perceptions, mold your basically assumptions and perceptions to align with that reality that you are not a limited being, actually, that you are unlimited being, and then you are actually God. So you should develop a perspective of a master. When master says you think like a master, you think that master is doing meditation, master is taking a walk. Master is omnipresent. So you have to align your thinking to get in tune with that reality. So that that experience is a gift from God, but you have to reflect on that experience and try to mold yourself to align your thinking and your behavior to be in tune with that. To scale your 10 commandments, we have to try to live 10 commandments. Then you're cooperating with the master in molding yourself to that reality. That reality is the present belief that you're a subject and everything else, the outside world, outside people are objects, is not true. You are part of one universal force called God, and God, you're not separate from it. So in that sense, you're not separate from the object. Object also is part of you. You become a grand subject, actually, encompassing everything. So that will, if you mold your living by following 10 commandments, then you're really benefiting from the meditation. This experience is very good if you're sitting erect and trying to rest yourself in the divine presence in your heart, and then you lose awareness of consciousness itself. Then that's a good thing. At that time, this is not possible. This is possible at a lower level, where you feel like you have the feeling of viveka. You feel that everything is transient. That feeling is there, and in that feeling, you should not try to get. You watch that feeling and try to be aware of that feeling. In that sense, you'll benefit. But there can be several conditions. Some conditions it may not be possible, as you say.
Thank you, sir.
Vivek, you want to go ahead?
Actually, all the questions which are raised is being answered in the next sentences, actually.
Correct. So point number 13, existence of thoughts by itself is not to be considered as poor meditation, as our aim is not concentration, but only to get into a state of absorbency in the thought of the divine light.
Yeah.
Meditations are absorbing or otherwise is not a matter of great
That's
concern.
true. You see, our aim is training the mind. We are so slowly gradually training our mind so that its tendency is to get accustomed to the reality of God, actually. So our training is not to become free of thoughts. That is incidental byproduct, actually. But our aim of training of meditation is that your mind should dwell on the divine thought, and only that thought should start dominating. So that is the idea. It is not concentration. Concentration comes naturally after some time, when your mind becomes purified with when you can renounce all your attachments. Then and if you have no ill will against anybody, like if you follow sixth commandment and eighth commandment, you don't have, you're not revengeful for anybody. You're not any difficulties come, you take it as a blessing, and you treat all people as brethren. So that means a kind of a universal love is there. At that time, the mind will be able to stay on the object of meditation for. You'll never get tired because that is a blissful state. Hours together, you can sit in meditation. So that is concentration. Babuji's definition of concentration is you are absorbed, thoughts come, but they don't distract you from your attention on the divine.
Correct. We have read till point 20. Should we read this again?
No, you go ahead. If any, for our better understanding, if any queries are there, because when we put questions and answers, then only clarity emerges. No?
Yeah.
Clarity emerges for the speaker as well as for the listener, actually.
So point 21 says the best meditation according to me is that which leaves us in a restless state. So you continue. Clarifications on morning meditation. Question is, when we sit for meditation, we offer another seat or asan in front of us and we feel the master's presence there. Is this special seat something to be considered for the guru or master who is different from the God within us? The answer that Sir gives is, the practice of offering a seat for the master is a means by which the trainer does not allow himself to think that he is the doer, and it is the master only who helps the practicant. This is an effective means to control ego on the part of the sadhaka as well as trainer. Next question. During the morning meditation, we feel the divine light within us, whereas during cleaning process and satsangs and sittings, we receive from outside. Could you kindly explain? The answer that Sir gives is, this is an interesting question. We accept that the divine light is within in the morning meditation and at any time we meditate. The divine light also is we say is without luminosity, since it cannot be defined. Definite, you see, is a word by which we try to finite something. God is infinite, and therefore the difficulty of defining him. Satsangs, group meditations, are those in our system where the trainer exercises his will and we experience the pranahuti. As already explained, pranahuti has its origin only in origin or base, but it is the trainer who channels it not as a medium in the ordinary sense, but is a medium of supra-consciousness of the Brahmanda level at the least. The master as an external being is not true and is incorrect. He is the indweller and yet the Lord of the universe. It is religions which have externalized God and made him alien to us. The Yoga Marga is also called Dhara Vidya. Dhara is the Akasa or space within our heart. Our Lord who is within us, who is within, is also residing in every form of existence as their internal reality. It is these internal realities that are apparently apart from us and that is felt as external existences. Next question is, meditation was a bit disturbed due to body pain, but felt light and calm. And the answer is, when body is not well, it has its problems to offer to us. But there is no one without physical ailments. If the body me confusion is gotten rid of, you may accept these problems easily. How would I know if thoughts are getting suppressed or naturally going away? I think something that Shakti also asked some time back, right? So in our system, there is no question of suppression. We do not give any such suggestions. Suppressions and repressions are efforts with certain techniques. In our system, we ask you to meditate on the divine light without luminosity. This concept is trans-rational, as rationally we cannot think of any light without luminosity. We are expressing our helplessness to know the divinity by giving this suggestion and wait on God to help us. Here, subconsciousness is also not involved, as we are not catering to any needs or urges or drives which relate to that realm. So the question of suppression of that does not arise. What happens there is a resolution of conflicts before the superconsciousness. If we are accustomed to Hindu imagery that it is like the great serpent Adisesha and Garuda being together in the presence of Lord Vishnu, you know they are sworn enemies, but in the presence of God, they remain calm and quiet. Similarly, the mental states, which are turbulent for various reasons, for some time at least, calm down and get settled under the influence of pranahuti in our system.
Sir, a bit of a digression, but I have one question. So I was watching a video of our channel, and before you joined, I was discussing with Dharmesh, and there was a video that popped up, and that was basically with a conversation. And in that video, it was mentioned that Pranahuti is same as what Pran Pratishtha is. Pran Pratishtha is done in the non-living objects, and Pranahuti we are doing in a living objects. Is this correct?
There is a system of prana pratishtha whereby the saint or a spiritual guru infuses his thought energy into that idol with a particular time frame. He says for the next 100 years, whoever comes and worships in this temple in front of this idol, my thought will support him so that his consciousness will move into higher plane of existence. Slowly he will, in that way, he'll be helped towards his spiritual evolution. So in that sense, it was there. But now it's more of a ritual, no? The people who are capable of doing are very few. And if people are capable of offering transmission physically present, why should you go to an idol actually?
Understood.
Okay, I'll proceed. During meditation, I am thoughtless for brief periods. I get absorbed many times for brief durations and at times for longer durations. Answer: the brief moments of the thoughtless condition reminds us gently of the ultimate state that we have to arrive at. Imperience per se does not matter much. It is reflection of such feelings that enables us to progress faster.
Sir, he is using imperience in two different senses. Here, the imperience he means that thoughtless state. Other places he uses imperience means reflecting on the condition and then gaining wisdom from that. So he uses the words in two different contexts with two different meanings actually.
Correct.
At other places he says reflection on that is also an imperience he talks of. Anyway.
Yeah. So next, during meditations, the irritations and restlessness keeps on reducing. The number of thoughts also reduce. I become aware of my concerns and my reaction to them. Sometimes there is a sensation on my forehead, just above the midpoint of my eyebrows. And the answer is, please meditate on the divine light in the heart. No light need be assumed, and I think you know that. The first thing we all would notice is that there is a rush of thoughts. And if we contemplate, we get astonished at the type of thoughts we are capable of. The only way to get at the root is to ignore them totally, in which case irritations and restlessness will not be there. Only when we give way to them, these reactions are there. The sensations in the point near Trikuti is a common experience of the Abhyasis in the system, and it has nothing to do with progress at this stage. Next is trying to recollect the feelings after the meditation, but unable to recollect anything. Please do not bother to recollect your feelings. If the feelings are remembered on its own, then record the same. And that is the way of brushing aside the thoughts that come during meditations. I am not doing meditation according to the timings and for the prescribed timings because of excessive pressure in the work. When work is very heavy, it is best to think after completion of the work on hand that the master was remembering you all the while you were at work. I have practically experienced the advantage from this method, and I am sure you would also be benefited if you adopt this method. Most of the times my sadhana is between 5:10 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. Sometimes it is between 5:30 and 6:50. Point B goes for 20 minutes. As for the fixed hour, there is bound to be variation of few minutes. Even the sun rises at different times. It is necessary to have the spirit of commandment rather than the letter while implementing the same. If due to any reason I get up late in the morning, do you want me to sit in meditation after sunrise or not? Today I am sitting even after sunrise. You may meditate after the sunrise also, but as far as possible, do it at a fixed time. Not doing meditation because of delay is not correct. Thoughts regarding service to master and school are more during meditation as well as during daytime. To think about service during meditation is not correct. We should dwell on the divine only. These ideas have a place later in the day. Last week, as I came to a place where there is a time difference of 2 hours and other personal reasons, I couldn't do my sadhana as expected. Though I did the morning meditation and evening cleaning regularly, but couldn't do before sunrise and was missing 9 p.m. prayer. Please do not bother for the occasional variations in timings necessitated by the circumstances. The rigid routine that nature observes is, however, not possible in actual living of human beings. We should try, as far as possible, to be in tune with nature and follow what we traditionally call
Rhythm.
Rhythm. Sorry. When I meditate on divine light without luminosity, I don't see anything, mere darkness. But today, at the end of my morning meditation, I felt something got opened from inside darkness. I was entering into it. Immediately after this thought, I came out of absorption and I couldn't continue meditation further. The feeling of darkness during meditation is common, as the nature of not one is like that. As you penetrate deeper, you'll find light, which is generally colored, yellowish or orange. So do not discontinue meditation till the duration of the meditation is over. Thoughts do haunt me, but I'm able to overcome it and go back to my meditation. Thoughts will always be there, but try to be in the thought of the divine light only. If you do not mind the thoughts, they will soon bid farewell. How far am I from my goal? How is my yielding to master? A resolve to do my sadhana assiduously. These are the predominant thoughts. I feel absorbed and thoughts related to my sadhana come during meditation. Goal is already determined and there is little point in thinking about it during meditation. Meditation should be on the divine light only. Absorbency or otherwise should be noted against a thought, and pure and simple word of absorbency may even be morbid. Please try to meditate as advised. During morning meditations, I am feeling calm and absorbed. One day during absorption, I saw rotating light. Another day during absorption, I saw bright light. And another day during absorption, I saw some particles swimming in space. I hope these experiences did not affect our meditation. Light is something that we experience whenever there is some slight obstruction to the flow of pranavati. This is very common, and you know light is not our goal. Sometimes I'm aware of thoughts and I am trying not to go after thoughts, but I'm going after thoughts sometimes. We must have irrevocable determination to get rid of our intentional consciousness, and then only we can reach our goal. Therefore, we should brush aside thoughts that come to fruition during the meditation. Otherwise, the samskaras do not get reduced. After the start of 5 minutes, the meditations are mostly absorbing. And in this absorption also, some are with consciousness without any thoughts only and simple silence. It is this experience that has led us to the awareness that nothing is real except this nothingness. And this forms the basis for getting rid of attachments of all kinds. Contemplation on this condition is the path. Just to say that is the condition and it is very high serves little purpose. This is what I call imperience beckons.
We'll stop here. I think there are several other things are there. Next session we can complete.
Yes.
A lot of clarifications are there.
Yeah.
This is important actually. Contemplation on this condition is the path.
Any questions? We'll meet next Sunday.